Hi everybody, Grandad here again. What am I up to today? Well, today I'm having another go at getting my heat up to do a little bit of metal melting. Just alter that a little bit. And today I brought out the big guns. I've got a gas bottle, and it's a butane gas bottle, and a burner. And I'll just put this bottle down on the floor. I just wanted to show it to you. Now I've got the biggest jet on it that I can find, and I'll just turn it on now, and I'll try heating up one of my little crucibles which I was telling you about with a little bit of borax in, just to see whether I can achieve any heat here. Now it's a little bit windy, it's trying to be windy, as it always does when I'm trying to do something. But the last time I tried this, this burner didn't seem to be very powerful to me, and it doesn't seem very powerful now. It isn't going with a big hiss. But I'll just try it with this burner, just to see whether it'll actually melt. I've got my safety glasses on. I'm not wearing my safety gloves yet, but I will put them on if I get to doing anything with anything hot. Now I'm just warming that up, and as I say, I wasn't very pleased with this, because this is only a sort of a camping stove arrangement. These things are used in caravans. Now in this country we aren't able to readily get hold of oxyacetylene. Now I used to use oxyacetylene years ago when I was in the car business doing welding and stuff, and you could get oxyacetylene, but you had to be a business. You had to be in business to be able to get a contract, to be able to get an account with a gas company that supplied oxyacetylene cutting equipment and welding equipment. And of course, when I gave up my business when I retired, I wasn't able to carry on with that, so I had to give up the contract. Now this flame is going, but it's not producing any sort of rush of gas and flame, so I don't think that is powerful enough to do any good. Now I've got a couple of more jets here which are smaller, and I'll just try undoing this. I better put my gloves on now, because obviously this is going to be hot. And I'll try undoing this burner. I'm putting the smaller one on. Now this is the one I've had on before, and I'm sure when I did it before I was able to melt silver with it, which is what I'm trying to do. But of course the heat depends on how much pressure you've got coming out of your gas cylinder. And as I say, this particular tool of mine is not producing very much gas. I'll just light it up again. So that's roaring a little bit fiercer, I suppose you'd call it, but not much. And I'll just play that on there and see if that manages to melt this borax. Because if I can't even melt borax, then there's not a chance of melting any metal. And this is why I've been trying to get different burners to try and increase the amount of heat I can get on this particular piece of equipment. Now as I say, this flame's not roaring, it's a very quiet flame. It isn't even blue. Now flames, when they're hot, they go blue. Now although this borax is heating up and swelling up, it's not really melting like I would have expected it to do in a really hot flame. So I rather suspect with this burner, which is obviously the highest one I've got, the big burner didn't do anything, and it doesn't look as if the small burner is going to be doing anything either. So I'm afraid this looks like another fail. Because if I can't even melt borax into a liquid, and get enough heat in here to get anything hot. There's no chance of me being able to make copper metal or melt my silver. Now it is burning, but there's just no pressure there. There's no heat, and I think just prolonging the heat, holding it in here, is not going to do anything. So that's very disappointing. Now you can get oxyacetylene burners. I've seen them. I don't know whether you can hire them or whether you can actually buy the small bottles, because the ones I used to use were very big bottles. As I say, you had to get them from BOC, which was a big company that did gas. And you didn't buy the bottles, you actually hired the bottles, and then you just took them back when they needed refilling and refill them. So you paid for the contents, but you didn't actually own the bottles. When you finished with the contract, you had to give the bottles back. And I had oxyacetylene, and I had propane, and oxygen, and that sort of worked. But this is just not producing the kind of heat that I want to do any good at all with this material. Now this borax is bubbling, but it's certainly not melting. And so this, I'm afraid, it's coming on to rain a little bit. So this is another fail video, and you've already had one fail video, so I don't think I'm going to be putting another one up. I don't think there's any point in putting another failed video of me trying to melt metal when it's obviously not going to work. This borax is not melting at all like I thought it should. As I say, it's just bubbling up and carbonizing a little bit, but I'm sure I'd do better if I just heated it in a fire. I'd get more heat. There's just no heat coming out of this blowtorch. And again, I spent quite a lot of money on this blowtorch, but the gas bottle just hasn't got the pressure and can't deliver what I need. So that, I'm afraid, is another miserable fail, and that's a pity. Anyway, if I do put this up, which I don't think I'm going to, I'll just say that this is another fail from Grandad, and this has not been a very good video, and the rain's coming on now, so I think I'll have to pack in. So as usual, I'll say bye bye now. Bye bye. Failed again. Oh dear. Oh dear.